Welcome to the very first episode of the QUAY Insights podcast. My name is Matin. I'm your host, the founder of QUAY Construction, and today we've got Adam Bell. Adam, welcome to the show. Really glad to have you here.
Thanks for having me on. I appreciate it.
Yeah, of course. Adam, you got 60K subscribers on YouTube, 15,000 on Instagram, on TikTok. You're a realtor, a creator, a local celebrity. How did it get started for you, man? Did you know you're going to be a creator starting off?
To be honest, I did not, but I did do creative work before I got into real estate, and they kind of ended up just working together and meshing well. And now, obviously, every realtor is on social media, but I kind of just started it as something on the side. You know, you have one business idea, and people say you just got to start doing stuff. And my first videos were so bad that you can't find them anymore. You know, but I just started making videos, and eventually they got a bit better, and then I got my real estate license and they kind of started working together.
Were you always making videos around real estate?
I was not. Originally, I started making videos about Vancouver, and that's how I grew, I'd say maybe half or 30,000 or so of the 60,000 subscribers. It was kind of lifestyle content, which is what people say when they don't have an actual niche. It was kind of just things to do in Vancouver, date night with your girlfriend, with your partner, what should you do? Videos like that. And people love them, but eventually you kind of hit a ceiling. So you got to figure out how to expand. And real estate was kind of the way that I expanded later on.
Is that where you kind of started on asking people about how much their rent cost?
Yeah, back when I was just making Vancouver videos, I was like, oh, that's a great idea. Started doing street interviews. And I think, I'm not going to say I was the first, but I was one of the first people in Vancouver to do these street interviews with the microphone. You know, you really got to puff your chest up and be like, I'm gonna go talk to these people on the street, because not everyone's nice. Not everyone, they see a camera and they tell you to, get out of here.
Yeah, I bet. That's when I started following your channel a while back, and I thought even at the time, just because the content was so relatable to real estate, I thought you were a realtor at the time already. But would you say that's kind of when it all turned for you as far as creating videos and stuff goes, that's where it picked up? Or was the first video that made you think oh, this is it, I gotta do this?
I would say that series, because I went out one day and I was like, let's film 15 interviews, because you can't do one and then decide if it works or not, right? You got to do 15 or 20, and the numbers were really good. Around that time, my other videos about Vancouver were doing well on YouTube. I did a couple that were touring the smallest apartment in Vancouver, right? We're talking 300 square foot apartment.
I remember those.
Yeah, touring the cheapest apartment, stuff like that. And then that combined with these videos where I was interviewing people, and the series was guessing people's rent in Vancouver. If you've never seen it.
Oh, I
know you've seen it. But they did well, and then when those combined, it was people started asking me I'm moving to Vancouver, I've seen your videos, you're in real estate, or are you in real estate? Can you hook me up with a realtor? And that's when I was well, I'm not right now, but I should probably start considering it, because all these people are asking about if I can help.
I remember that transition as well, even in your videos at the time. So you've interviewed hundreds of people, my guess is, about their rent and Vancouver real estate and all that. What's the biggest misconception you'd say people have about real estate in Vancouver?
I think it's I would say the one that I see the most is people probably closer to my age, so they're later 20s, early 30s, and they're waking up to the idea that sometimes real estate is not the best investment for every person. Truly, in a time like now, in an expensive place, some people make themselves house poor to get that first condo, and a lot of it comes down to timing. Is it going to make money in the next few years? Is it going to be worth it? When maybe sometimes it's just not like it used to be, where you could bank a little bit on the fact that things are going to go up. We've seen that in the recent percentage growths over the last few years. It's been a lot slower than it's been. So I've just had some clients who have bought places, and they really stretched themselves to get in there, and then the growth since they got it in the last couple of years has been kind of zero, negative, and with taxes and fees is definitely negative. So maybe just misconception is it's I think people are starting to realize it, but it's not always worth it. It's not always worth it.
It's a very unique time in Vancouver's real estate right now. I mean, I've been here 25 years. In that 25 years, I would say for 20 of it, you could definitely bank on real estate going up. And if you bought an investment or just a property for yourself, you could make money on that. But now it's just weird in terms of both for yourself and as an investment. It's just a very strange time for our real estate. So if you had to sum up Vancouver real estate market in 3 words, what would that be?
3 words. I'd say expensive, consistent, and exclusive. I think I would choose those because obviously it's expensive. It's exclusive kind of because it's expensive. I mean, it's even hard to find a place. Even when you find a nice place these days, even though the market's slow, there might be multiple offers if it's priced well and it's a nice place. Like people still really want to live here. And then consistent, we've seen markets go down a lot in other places, but Vancouver kind of doesn't run anything, but the prices of things like the rest of the country might go up and down a little more, but Vancouver's relatively like stable,
Yeah.
So even if it's negatives, it's still leading the way. It's still not too negative.
No, definitely nothing like Toronto. That's we're seeing. It's a bit of a bloodbath over there. The next question I have for you now, I know you've been in real estate for a few years. You're an experienced guy in that space, but also you're a young guy. A lot of your peers and friends are probably looking to pick up their first property.
Yeah.
What's the one piece of advice you'd give to a first-time home buyer in Vancouver?
I would probably say first-time home buyer, before you do anything is like think about this one thing that's like how likely are you to move again in the next few years, because you do not make money or build wealth in real estate, especially these days where it's moving a little slower, by moving every couple of years, right? Yeah. You buy a place, you're paying property transfer tax. By the way, if you didn't know, that's tens of thousands of dollars, sometimes hundreds of thousands if you're in the millions when you're buying, which is crazy. You might pay GST if you're buying something new, 5%. Realtor fees as well. You don't pay that when you're buying, but sellers pay it. Anyways, if you buy and sell, you're paying a lot of fees and a lot of taxes. So it's just smart when you buy your first place to be pretty confident that you're going to stay there for at least, a handful of years. The longer, the better.
Or at least you're able to hold that property even if you move on to another one.
Yeah, exactly.
So to let that wealth grow a little bit rather than lose money on all those fees. Now the next question I have for you is, you've toured so many properties. We've seen them on videos on YouTube. I'm sure there are countless tours that you've done with clients that are not on YouTube either. Yeah. What's that like one big wow factor for clients of yours?
The wow factor? It might be a boring answer, I'm not gonna lie, but it always is the kitchen, and I think it's because like a nice kitchen when you walk into a place, and I think that's because if you're in an old apartment, you can always like make it spiffy with furniture or paint or whatever, but when you go into a kitchen and the tile, the counter, the backsplash, and the appliances are not up to date or whatever, like it's older, it's like a big thing. Buyers are just like, there's 10,000, there's 10,000, whereas like a living room, it's a lot less expensive to make it look nice. So I don't know if that's the answer you were looking for, kind of, but
I mean, unfortunately, it's a cliche in our line of work, is like every blog post, every social media post starts with like, kitchen is the heart of the house.
Oh yeah.
And the thing is, it really is. Like, that's what most of our work tends to be as far as like home renovations and stuff go, and it just kind of makes sense.
Yeah.
So I know you do a lot of like content creation, you're touring properties with clients, you're probably doing some editing on the side. Like, what does a regular week look like for Adam?
Man, yeah, when people ask me this question, I usually, it's kind of always a different answer because it just changes so much. I'm sure you get it, or anyone who's like self-employed, sometimes you have your schedule that you try to follow and it just doesn't really work that well.
What does it look like recently?
Recently, yeah, we're talking, I have like 2 video editors on contract. I have like a thumbnail editor for YouTube contract stuff. I try to get help as much as possible. I also have like one realtor on my team who helps out with showings and that kind of stuff, but I'm really touching every part of the business. So I'm shooting, I'm scripting on one day, like it changes. So there's no precise schedule, unfortunately. Drives me a bit crazy, drives my girlfriend crazy because I'm not home when I say I'm gonna be home. But it's always changing, but I'm really doing, honestly, I'd say it's just problem solving 24/7. I'm doing scripting, video editing, going to showings, going to drive, put the sold sign on the house,
Yeah.
taking a call on the way back. Like it's just every part you'd expect.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think one thing is like when you're in that middle size of business and you're not doing so much business that you can like hire full-time here, full-time there, like people, you are just working lots of hours and wearing a million hats. And you'll always wear a lot of hats doing any kind of business. I'm sure you know that. But when you can also bring some people on, you can relax a little bit. I still think I'm just not relaxing.
You'd be surprised.
I knew you were gonna say it.
After you bring people on,
It gets
you
worse,
might
doesn't
be
it?
relaxing a little less.
Yeah.
Just because now you might have those people taking on tasks, but then you're taking on those people.
That's fair.
And people have their own whole setup.
That's fair.
So.
I think maybe when you get one person. For me, I see it like a video editor. If I had a full-time video editor, which is in the works right now, I know that I would get time back. I have to spend time with them, looking at the work and also training and that kind of stuff. But when it's smooth, fingers crossed. That's the thing. Then
I think
hopefully
the
you get a little
first
bit back.
two is very helpful, and then once you cross that, like the first two people that you have on your team full time, then it becomes
Less.
more work and less relaxation.
Okay, good to know.
But it's a good problem to have.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. What's the hardest part for you juggling between being a realtor and an influencer at the same time?
I think maybe the hardest part is just like dialing down like what kind of like what you're like when you're public facing. I try to be myself as much as possible, but sometimes when I'm on a video and people are like, "Oh, this guy is so casual, like he's not wearing dress socks or dress shoes. Like I got no respect for this guy." Balancing like knowing who you are when all these people have so much to say about you online, because when you get the viewers, you start getting people who don't like what you stand for and don't like what you do, and that's just like part of the game. So I think that takes some time to get used to, but then just being able to push through that and be like, you know what, I know who I am and I'm confident with how I speak and the words that I use, and just because Jim Russell online wants to leave a nasty comment, whatever, I'm not working with you anyways, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And just being okay with that. You're not going to be, you're not going to like everyone, everyone's not going to like you, and you just get a lot more of that when you're so like online all the time.
So did it take you a while to come to terms with like online hate or online praise, or was that something that you had in mind in the back of your mind that, okay, when I get there, I'm just gonna be still me?
I think it, there was a time for sure when you're getting like more comments and you're having, it's like growth pains. What do they call it? Growth
pains.
Yeah, growing pains. That's what it is. And there was a time where I had to reflect and be like, gosh, should I change like a bit of how I'm doing these things or how I'm speaking? Like it's a $10 million property. Should I be wearing this and this or this and this? And there was a time where I had to think about it and reflect, and it'll make you do that. Yeah. Those growing pains.
Fair enough.
Mm-hmm.
So what is the wildest thing a client has asked you for during a tour?
There was a time where we were touring a property and it was listed at like 1.9, I think it was 1.9.
Yeah.
And he was like, let's offer 1.8. I think we can get it for 1.8. And we went in there, we already knew they had an offer for 2 million. and he was like, no, like we can negotiate. Like, isn't this your job? You're supposed to negotiate. Like a new client, So I was like, okay, like, well, I mean, we'll see what we can do, but it's like they already have an offer for 2 million.
Why would they?
Long story short, we didn't get it. We didn't get the property.
I wonder why.
Yeah, I wonder why. But it's tough. You can negotiate, and a lot of people ask for me to negotiate, which obviously that's the job. Yeah. But sometimes you can't make things happen that are impossible. Like, how are they going to take $200,000 less just because I give them one of these? Give them a wink?
Yeah, I mean, especially if you have an offer in place for over asking.
Yeah.
I mean, not that those happen these days as much, but
yeah, that was a couple years ago. That one.
I bet. The most underrated feature in a property.
Most underrated feature in a property. It's not going to be something physical, so I don't know if that's what you wanted, but I would say it's the strata in the building. Like, people don't realize, especially first-time buyers, when you buy a place, like how much of you're always taking a risk, because you don't really get a chance to, like, as a buyer, talk to the strata, talk to the leader of the strata or any of that stuff, right? The president, like you don't. And you might have a strata that you just might not get along with, or that you do get along with. So like, if you're buying a property, the agent and you gotta look in the minutes. There are so many hidden things that you can find in those minutes. Noise complaints, people getting fined. Maybe it's your neighbor. We had a case where the neighboring strata lot had like thousands of dollars in noise complaint fines. And we almost offered on this property, and it was the next door one. And I'm sure whoever bought it, like, I mean, if they didn't do their research, man, that'd be a tough place to move into. So.
Yeah, but no, I mean, having lived in a stratified unit myself, I know the importance of it. The one trick I have for that is I'll talk to neighbor.
Yes.
If I'm seeing a new place, I'll actually talk to neighbor, because there's no better way to actually get a gauge. Because sometimes you can read the minutes and like a penalty or a fine or something might seem normal, just like casual business. But yeah, talking to people that have lived there for a couple of years definitely helps out quite a bit.
Hang out around the building like a creep for a little while, and then talk to some people, until you get the police called on you. But it works.
Or you get lucky and somebody gets out of the elevator and you get to ask them.
You can do that too.
Yeah. Before getting politely asked to leave the property because you don't live there.
Sir.
Yeah. Now, what's the craziest reaction you've ever had for giving somebody the price of a property?
Yeah, when I've talked to, before we had the foreign buyers ban, I had like people from the US trying to move over, and just everyone is meeting it with like 600 grand for, they love the word shoebox, of course. 600 grand, do you know what I could get? Do you know what I could get out here? Do you know what I could get over there? Yeah. A mansion with all this and that, and like, yeah, it's kind of become a reality that it's, you're not getting tons of square footage or property for a lot of money, but it kind of is how it is. Like, but I get it when you're not from here, or like Toronto or New York or LA, like, or San Francisco. That's another expensive
Anywhere
one.
In California.
Yeah, pretty much. Then you just don't really get it, and it sounds insane that price of a house could be a condo, or a parking spot. Price of a house could be a parking spot sometimes in like,
600K in Austin gets you a house with a football field of a backyard. It's literally like 3 blocks wide. Yeah,
and here you're getting a okay condo, 1 bed.
Yeah, max.
Yeah.
Max.
Yeah, not in the heart of town either. So.
No, not really. I mean, these days downtown has come down a little bit, so maybe you get lucky in an older building downtown. But yeah, that's about the end of it. What's the one thing that you would never do if you were buying a property in Vancouver? I know you got that series on YouTube, Looking for Your Own Property. What's the one thing that you would never ever do if you were buying a property in Vancouver?
For me, obviously it's got to depend on what your goals are. I have sometimes people buy a place just because they want to own, and that's the main goal. It's not about the investment. For me, I'm like investment heavy. The money's got to make sense. So like sometimes when I see a building and it's a nice unit, if the building is too old, like 1950, 1960, 1970, 1980, it's not really for me. Just because I know how, strata fees can go up. Not every one of these buildings is going to be one of these cases. It's just that when it's older, there are, slightly higher chances that things can go wrong. I'm someone who just likes to avoid a bit of the headache. Yeah. I'd rather spend a little more money, be a little safer, and again, just cross my fingers. So I personally avoid like the older buildings when I'm searching.
Yeah, fair enough. The next question I've got for you is, what's worth more to you in Vancouver? Are we talking location, the view, or parking?
I think, so would it be no parking? Are we talking like?
You can pick one of the 3. You get the perfect view, you get a real nice neighborhood, wherever your favorite one may be, or you get a place with no parking.
Okay. Definitely view is the one I'm going to exclude first.
Yeah.
Because I think if you live in a good location, like I live somewhat close to the beach. If I need to, I can go down to the beach and then have the view there. Parking or location. I'm a car guy, so it's kind of difficult for me to choose to put my car to the side, but I mean, it's probably got to be location. It's got to be location.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you there, because in a nice neighborhood, more often than not, you're not overpopulated, so you can probably park outside in a safe manner and hope that your windshield is still going to be there tomorrow.
Yeah, exactly. Just like here, a bunch of free street parking, you
Yeah.
know, hopefully it would be like that.
Well, Adam, thanks so much for joining. I really appreciate your time. It's been an absolute blast. So for those audience and viewers of ours that want to find you, what's the best way to reach out to Adam?
For me, it's Instagram. My handle is the Adam J. Bell. I'm not being cocky. It was just that Adam J. Bell was taken, okay? It's just like a standard white guy name. I can't find a way around it.
Yeah.
So the Adam J. Bell on Instagram. Yeah, thank you for having me on.
Thanks very much. And tune in for the next episode. We've got more guests coming your way on a weekly basis. This has been the QUAY Insights podcast, and we'll catch you on the next one.